crafting event.
Yeah.
We are back. Adam and I are back for another Crafting a Chat. Welcome, everybody, whoever's watching our chat. If you haven't tuned in, I'm sure you've gotten our notifications on Twitter. If you haven't gotten notifications on Twitter, well, I assume you better be on that. You should go find us on Twitter and get on that, please.
Yeah. Search Crafting a Chat or Chat Crafting. You'll find us.
Yeah, either one. Episode number 29. We are back after a week-long break. It's been a very interesting one for myself. I am now a proud father of a little girl, and she was born on Monday. It's been a very crazy week. I didn't know what day it was for the longest time or what time it was anymore, because it's when that happens, it pretty much ends up feeling that way for a while. You don't know where you are anymore, or what day it is, and it's not it's not uncommon, I guess. I'm having a time of my life though with this little baby. It's great. She's definitely making me feel all these different types of ways, and it's an experience and a half. I recently just got back into playing on PS5. It was a good I think 6 days I didn't come on, if I'm correct, Adam. About 6 days.
You are correct.
And I am finally back here in the seat again in this lovely world we've made, where my good buddy there, Adam, is going to tell us what he's been doing since I've been off for the entire week.
Oh, yeah. It's been 2 weeks. Oh, my gosh. I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, no. What have I played? Well, first off, congratulations. You have a beautiful baby girl. I don't like kids, but that one, I'll take a bullet for. If anybody's shooting at her, you might want to change your life, though. I'm just saying.
Well, there's always gonna be, in the non-violent way, in the virtual way, there's gonna be people shooting at her always, and
of course,
we'll be there to block all those virtual bullets.
Yeah. So my week off, it was bad, I would say. I got a new mattress. It's been great. But then I tried the Sackboy trophy. I tried that Sackboy time trial. I think I put about 4 hours into it, and I got about halfway through the trial. So
Adam, I don't know really what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you with that trophy, because that thing is immensely difficult. Even without having tried it, just a little bit that we've done, it's pretty tough.
I think I'm just gonna cut my losses and quit my job and just work on that trophy. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think that's always what I have to do.
Always the solution.
Yeah,
it's quit.
It's very difficult. I don't want to do it.
For all our viewers out there, the solution always, according to Mr. Adam here, is just quit.
Quit while you're ahead. Quit while you're behind too. Just keep quitting.
Just quit. Just play your PlayStation. If you have an Xbox, keep working, because you need to get a PlayStation. Okay.
Yeah. Click your Nexus button. Turn your console off. Get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
You got a PC? The Xbox button is
I don't know why you're here in the first place. Is that what it's called, the Nexus button?
Yeah.
That's a cool little name. We don't have a name for this. This is just a PS button, a PlayStation.
It's a home button. That's all it is, I think.
A home button. Okay.
I mean, now it's just a quick menu. Anyways, get distracted. Yeah. No, my week off, I didn't really do too much. I watched a show that we'll talk about a little bit later. So, spoiler alert for later. We're going to deep dive into Wandavision. So
please, if anybody's watching our show and doesn't want to be spoiled by Wandavision, unfortunately, you're going to have to shut the stream off, because we are going to be talking about a couple of spoilers on here.
Hold on, though. We're not there yet. So you can stay, and then you can mute it.
Yeah, you can stay for now. Yeah.
You can stay.
You can mute it. Yeah, you'll just see us and our lovely faces, and, we'll be here. Not our real faces, our Minecraft faces.
And then you can mute it, and I'll put, this block down or something. I'll do that, and that's how spoilers are going on. Boom.
Exactly. Once the block is gone, spoilers are gone, and you can resume listening to our amazing, enlightening podcast for those who've read our Twitter.
Wow. I didn't think you'd connect it. What else have I been playing? I did no Game Pass. I said I was going to do Game Pass. I vegged out. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do anything. It was great. I took a week off work for your birth.
Yeah, sometimes we need.
Well, for your baby's birth, you did not your birth. But I mean, I didn't go.
In a way, I've been reborn as well.
I've also.
I can now legally tell dad jokes without feeling stupid.
Well, legally you can tell them, before you get arrested. So
Exactly. You know the dad police is out there. The dad jokes police.
that's
They
why I
got
never leave
arrest
my
warrants
house.
for many people.
That's why I never leave my house. They're about to take me down. Like, uh-oh. And they ain't taking me down to the Paradise City. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's not gonna happen. All right. Anyways, video games. What did I play? Um, I started up Lego DC Supervillains again, just trying to go through the
Yep, you were telling me
collectibles,
that one. Yeah.
and did a little bit of Minecraft. Our friend Chris, who we've talked about, who's actually spoken and been on the podcast before, he sent like a Reddit thing where it was like, build this house in a cliff. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to. So then I just spent an hour doing that. So that was pretty sweet. That's in our main world, though, on the
Beautiful.
server. So it's not that great, honestly. I didn't do the interior.
No, I
just
saw the
did
picture of it.
outside.
I liked it. You know.
Yeah,
I
it was
actually
good.
did like it.
Yeah, it was a good tutorial. I would credit them, but I don't remember what it is, and I'm not looking for it. So, welcome to the internet. Yeah, I didn't really play anything else. I've been watching Chris play Red Dead 2. He finished that, and I've been watching him play Miles Morales.
Oh, did he finally finish it?
Yeah, he finished it last week. He said
That's
it
why
was
you
one of
started
the
Miles
greatest
Morales.
games of the generation, if not the greatest
That's
game of the generation.
Are you serious?
Yes. Yeah. That's why I was like, oh
I really
my
wish
gosh,
he was here to
give
us his opinion on that, but you know.
Well, you got to play it, and then we can do a special Red Dead podcast like 5 years later.
I don't know if I'm gonna. Yeah, five. We'll talk in about 5 years for when Red Dead 2.5 is ready to come out. Then you know, I'll and by 2.5 I mean the remastered collection on PlayStation 5.
Of course.
Whenever Rockstar decides to do that, because you know Rockstar. Grand Theft Auto 5, guys. Grand Theft Auto
it's got a first-person mode. Have fun. But yeah, what have you been playing? Nothing really, right?
Well, I mean, we've been gone for about 2 weeks. So the week prior to this whole, life-changing event that I've had, I actually played Rogue Company with our good friend, number one fan of the podcast,
Kevin.
And I played that for the first time. Had a couple rounds on that. It was a lot of fun. We still kept playing Cursed, which I found. I think I said the last time was Cuisine Royale Second Edition. I think that's what it is. Still, maybe if I remember it correctly. I don't know what the FOAD or FOUD stands for, but I can't remember what that one is. My brain's melted, you know. So
I'm drinking hot chocolate, or I would look it up. So
I'm forgetting a lot more things more often nowadays because I can't tell what hour it is of the day. I feel like in the night when I go to sleep now, I'm not sleeping. It's actually I'm supposed to be up at that point in time, and then during the day I'm like, am I supposed to be sleeping? And I look outside, I'm like, is that a giant flashlight in the sky? No, that's the sun.
Yeah, it was kind of weird how you wanted to do this at 10 a.m. today, but whatever, I'm okay with it.
I also played We Were Here, the initial episode of We Were Here, which is free on PlayStation. I think it was actually until the entire series came out. So for those of you who got that game, fantastic game. I played it with number one fan of the podcast, Kevin. And we had a grand old time getting the platinum. We made, I think, 2 or 3 mistakes along the way, or else we would have gotten that platinum in, I think, 25 to 30 minutes. It's not a long platinum at all. Look up a guide if you really just want to power through it and get the platinum. I think it's like two or three playthroughs, and it's like 2.5 playthroughs, actually, for you to get it. But a lot of fun with that one. We actually downloaded the entire series. Whenever he hops back on and whenever I figure out what day it is of the week again, I will hop on and play with him. We're probably going to see if we can platinum the other two and get that situated. I've also been watching WandaVision, but I have not watched in one sitting. I've been watching it since it started. So that's been a lot of fun watching that show. I've been super hyped for that show. And then as far as that, I think I played a little COD last night as my first day back on. Yeah, I got annoyed at that within, I think, an hour, and I was like, well, I hate this game again because, you know, that's what COD does to you. It just gets you real annoyed. Yeah. You start playing and you're like, oh, this is not that bad. And then you get into a couple matches and you realize that people are, you know, just sniping you every 5 seconds. You're like, why did I pop this game back in? I can't remember. I don't think I played anything else unless I'm mistaken. I'm trying to just remember, but I think that's all I played.
Oh, you already said, yeah,
Rogue Company, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rogue Company definitely is a lot of fun as well. For anybody who's out there who's looking for it's not an Overwatch type of game, but like if you're looking for that team-based shooter that you guys have like limited lives and stuff like that in, that's a fun game to play. Gunplay is real fun in that. It is a very polished game actually, just for being free. You know, you don't have to purchase anything for it. There's no, yeah, it has microtransactions, but like it's all just cosmetic stuff. It's not going to give you any boosts in the game. But it's a lot of fun for that. Number one fan of the podcast and I we did a lot of rounds in that after we got not bored, but we were like, oh, let's find something else besides the Curse to play. While Curse was still, I think, a lot of fun still. But yeah, I mean that's what I did over the 2 weeks, and that was probably the last break we're gonna take for a little while. Obviously, we'll be back to our weekly schedule here every Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Well,
check our Twitter and all that to know when we're on.
Of course.
And
yeah, you never know.
We may have guests come in the show every once in a while, but for the most part, it's just gonna be me and Adam here.
Yeah, we're thinking about it. Giuseppe is still gone, so probably for some time.
Yeah, so. Well, yeah. Well, you know.
I feel like we should mention him every episode. You know?
We'll mention him every
episode. I mean,
his
chair's still here. Oh, no, we took his name off of it.
Yeah.
Wait, who did that? Me or you?
I think I did that.
Wow, I didn't even notice till now. Right,
no, yeah, we'll mention him every once in a while. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We're fine.
There we go.
Yeah, you can sit over there. We're cool. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Oh God.
All right.
Did that trigger what?
No, I
okay.
I stopped that. Yeah.
Okay.
So what are we talking about first? We talking about all this PlayStation news? We talking about just random news? We talking about rumors?
Let's go into the PlayStation news today. It was a very busy morning today. I think at around like 8:30 a.m. this morning, closer to like 9, it was just like a bombardment of news coming out of Sony. They just decided, let's open up the floodgates and let people just hear, and then we'll close them right back up, and then, you know, have a drought for another like 6 months. But again, they decided to even destroy that because apparently there's a state of play coming this Thursday.
Yeah, 5 p.m.
So there actually might be a mini episode or maybe a posted reaction on the YouTube side. We may post that up. Just to let you guys know what our thoughts are on the state of play. It really depends on what's announced there. If it's a Megaton announced, then you probably will end up seeing us. Keep an eye on our Twitter. If not, then we'll probably just go over it next week in our chat. So just keep an eye on our Twitter, and we will keep everybody updated as far as what that's going to look like. But yeah, Mr. Adam, if you want to lead us on into what that news was, since you were the one who posted everything this morning.
I mean, I'm just going to scroll up through our group chat and just read them off.
Beautiful.
All right, so PlayStation at Home returns, not PlayStation Home. I originally read this as PlayStation Home returns, and I was like, what? Why? But it wasn't PlayStation Home. It's the at Home. Do you remember the PlayStation at Home Genesis last year?
PlayStation Home was one of the... Actually, well, let's make another distinguish. It's not Folding at Home, which was on PS3, or PlayStation Home, which was on also on PS3. Just for everybody out there, because when I read that, the same reaction you had, I was like, PlayStation Home's coming back? Oh my God. I was like, oh yes, please.
If only that app wasn't there.
Right. I do remember the initiative that Sony did last year, which was very, very generous and nice of them to do for everybody sitting home during lockdown around the world. Everybody got a free game from PlayStation, or a couple of free games, I believe, because it was over a certain amount of time.
Yeah, Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection in Germany.
Yep, which was basically 3 games and then a +1, so you got 4 games in total.
Yeah, it was a good deal.
For just, and you get to keep those. You don't got to be a Plus member, you don't got to be anything, you just download them and they're yours and you get to keep them.
Yep, and then now this, starting March 1st, they're doing Ratchet & Clank, the PS4 game, not the one coming out. I told number one fan of the podcast earlier and he was like, and I'm like, no, not the new one.
That'd be pretty insane. I think that would hurt them more than help them.
Well, it would hurt them because it's like 2 months before it comes out, so that would be like pretty insane. Hey, you could get this free March 1st, but you could buy it in like a couple of months. That'd be weird.
People would be like, what? Why would I buy it? I don't understand then. Why would I buy it?
March 1st, for everybody. This is in America. I don't know if you don't live in America. Look it up. And then March 25th, you get Funimation. You just get an extended access to new subscribers. So
that's because they made the deal to get Funimation at this point in time, because now Funimation is owned by Sony, I think.
Yep. So
Yeah, good deal for them.
yeah.
Good deal
So
for
I
them.
saw that and I was like, oh, that's cool. So I
At
mean,
least
that's
they're
just
using their
bonus.
assets very well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we don't know what the Plus games are for next month either. So
We are getting close. Yep, it is the 23rd. Wow, I didn't even realize what date it is either. Oh my God,
yep,
what year is it
23rd.
again? I hope it's not 2020 again.
Ooh,
But
bad news.
yeah, I know. But you're looking at, yeah, the PS Plus games will probably be announced. PS Now games will also be announced. I'm assuming the initiative's just going to carry on with more of the older PS4 games that came on early on. It kind of makes sense, and it makes a lot of sense to just give these people, say, hey, listen, we know you're home. Here's some extra games you probably didn't get to play back in the day, which
Mm-hmm.
it also gives those games a chance to get, a little bit of reignition with people who haven't even delved into the games. Like, I'm sure there's people who haven't played the 2016 version of Ratchet and Clank for
Yeah.
PS4. I'm sure there's people who haven't
I
done that. There
I
are
mean,
people
I'm
who never
sure
played
there's people
Uncharted.
who've played it, now they're like, yeah, but I wonder what the PS5 is going to do to it.
There's always that. For all
Yeah.
the lucky folks
I
out
know
there
that
who own
just probably clicked for
PS5s,
you, too.
absolutely, yeah. I played that game and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I've already pre-ordered my copy of the next Ratchet and Clank. Can't wait for it to come out. If that game is at all at 60 frames per second on PlayStation 5, you better believe I'm going to download that and play it before that new one comes out. Um, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of their big things they announced today, which a lot of people were very happy about.
Yeah. Well, let's go to something sad now, though. Gran Turismo
Yeah. Let's go
7
to.
delayed till 2022. I mean, neither of us here are racing fans or Gran Turismo fans, but I figured this was worth mentioning.
Gran Turismo is a big name for Sony.
Yeah.
A lot of the people definitely go to Sony to get their share of the sim racing and stuff like that. Because Rip Drive Club, unfortunately.
Drive
Um,
Club.
yeah, Gran Turismo is always going to be that staple for Sony, just like Forza is for Xbox. And Gran Turismo being delayed is not too much of a shock, as far as it is I guess just an announcement from them. We hadn't heard about it for a little bit, and even though it was originally announced as a launch window, whatever anybody considers that, uh, it it was not mentioned for a little while from Sony, and then we
Hmm.
anticipated seeing a delay from it. I don't know if I was anticipating a 2022 delay, but I was at least anticipating at the end of 2021 delay. But hey,
Well,
more
they
time to
did
polish, more time to make it.
they did remove the 2021. Remember they removed it from that trailer, and then they just
They
ended up
did, they did.
removing Gran Turismo altogether from that trailer.
When
So
they dropped that trailer, yeah, with the screen cap at the end that showed, hey, here's all the games with dates
yeah,
next to it. Which I'm not sure if those were actual dates, as far as like just estimates, rough estimates, because that's for that's for investors and stockholders to see and stuff like that. For honestly,
yeah,
it is directed towards the public, but I think some like that screening in particular would be more directed towards the investment and stockholders,
hmm
so they can see what lies ahead for the investments they've made. But yeah, Gran Turismo unfortunately is delayed to 2022. More time for polish, more time for work into it.
yep,
Let's get a perfect game out of that, and I think it'll do well for Sony's racing portfolio that they have, which I think it's getting smaller and smaller. And I think
yeah,
what do they
yeah.
have now? Just Gran Turismo.
Mostly just Gran
Um,
Turismo because MotorStorm's dead.
oh God, what I wouldn't give for a MotorStorm reboot. That game was
That
fun on PS3,
is
a
great.
lot, and the graphics in that game were definitely ahead of its time.
Yeah, it was
Very good
beautiful. The
looking game.
destruction stuff, and then the whole. It sucks because the earthquake in Japan kind of.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
awful.
Did we mention that at the beginning? Never mind. I was actually thinking a bit when you said Destruction. I remember Destruction All Stars, and I was like, did we mention that the last
That was in
stream?
the
I
last
think we
one.
did.
Yeah, that was the last
That was
one
the
because
last one.
that came out in the
Yeah, I was
beginning
like,
of February. Remember?
yeah, you can see
Yeah,
how I've
we're
lost my train of time.
train of time. Yep. All right. Anyways,
My
speaking of
train of
delays,
time, the time train.
I don't. That's not a thing, but it is now. Time train. Check
It's
our
the time
merch
train.
store eventually. That'll be there.
Oh yeah, that'll be the next thing we have up. Merch store.
Yeah, merch.
$50 for a shirt that says
Wow, come on now.
Chatcraft.
Not even chat crafting.
The abbreviated version. Chatcraft.
Wow, it advertises almost nothing. Speaking of delays, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, not necessarily just PlayStation, but this game's been delayed. It's not releasing in 2021. and the studio that is leading the development is no longer the people who were working on it. It's no longer Hardsuit
Oh,
Labs. So
wait a minute. So that entire studio just disbanded, or they just stopped working on it?
they're just not the ones making the. They're not leading the development of Bloodlines 2 anymore.
Well then.
Yeah. So that one,
I
another
feel like
quick
when
one.
I feel like when we hear things like that, I think of like Dead Island 2,
Yeah.
Dying Light 2.
Yep.
They're just nobody knows who's making them anymore. Like nobody says anything about them. I
These,
hope that doesn't
yeah,
fall.
these are all correct
You know.
examples. But so we Giuseppe talked about the first game because it was on Plus and he played it and
Yep.
he wasn't
Yep.
a huge fan. I haven't tried it out. I hear the platinum's not bad, but I'm not touching it. And then the
Well,
big
it's
news.
not my type of game.
Big
Yeah.
news
Yeah. Go ahead.
of the day. The good big news. Introducing the next generation of VR on PlayStation.
I am so excited for that to come out. I mean, I'm a proud owner of a PlayStation VR, so are you, sir. I know that. And you actually play a VR a lot more with Beat Saber.
I played a little bit of Beat Saber, and I'm not saying I'm a fit man now. Some would say I'm a little bit fatter than when I started playing Beat
No, no,
Saber,
no,
but
no, no.
it's been a while. I haven't
You
touched it
definitely
in a
worked
while.
on it, definitely. Yeah, it's okay. It's
No,
all right. Now my mine is sitting outside connected to a PS4 because there's too many things attached to my PlayStation 5. But yes, next generation of PlayStation VR, very exciting.
mm-hmm.
According to what they had said, the only things they gave as far as information about this new system, it is going to feature a much less complicated way of plugging into a PlayStation.
Single
If you
cord.
guys, whoever remembers the original PSVR before the reiteration, which is PSVR like 2.0, not to be confused with PSVR 2, but PSVR 2.0. Or whatever, the updated version that included HDR pass-through. You had to have connected to this box, which then connected to your PlayStation, which then routed to your TV, which was like a pass-through for your PlayStation to your headset to your TV. Very complicated, very unnecessary. It's going to be a single cord now, so that's one of the better things that it's going to be. And I believe the other thing is just yes, it's still a cord, which is they didn't specify if it's a cord to the actual headset. They just said a single cord. That's all they said. They were very vague on that. I don't think it not necessarily says that it was a cord to the VR headset itself.
So it says it will connect to PS5 with a single cord to simplify setup and improve ease of use while enabling a high-fidelity visual experience. And I'm taking the it as meaning the headset.
Okay,
so,
that makes sense.
Wait, I mean, with this, they literally showed nothing. There's no date. It's clearly not this year. They said it's not this year, but they have more to show us in the future. Maybe that means on Thursday. I doubt it.
I would so hope so, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
I highly
would
doubt
love
it
if they showed us that Thursday.
I got a rumor thing I got to send you before we jump into rumors at the end here.
Send it to me.
Thursday.
We're good. Send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send it. I got to find it, but we'll get there. But then this new VR controller, which will incorporate some of the key features found in the DualSense wireless controller, along with a focus on great ergonomics, which is exciting.
Even more exciting. Anything that has to do with the DualSense and what capabilities this controller has and replicating that's something else that we could use, that's exciting. 110% exciting, because the DualSense is I think the most integral part of the PlayStation 5. Minus the SSD, minus the whole graphical leap and all that good stuff and frame rate leap, the DualSense is what makes this thing so unique and amazing. And incorporating that into like a VR type of setting where you'd feel those, that responsiveness or that feedback coming back to you in the sense of like you have trigger pressure or better, better rumble where it pinpoints certain rumble, like you walking into something, punching a wall, feeling the rain drop on your hand, something like that. Yes. Shorter way of saying everything that I just said.
I still maintain that that VR is great for games and stuff, but also, especially during this pandemic, watching a movie. Because you just feel like you're in a theater. It's wonderful. Yep. Grab your bucket of popcorn, sit down. I mean, you can only do it one at a time. So, don't sit down. You're gamers. Nobody's got people. Genesis fell into a woman. That's how he got a baby. Like, come on.
Well, that's definitely well, I don't okay, well, yeah, I guess so. I don't think I can really say anything against it. You're correct. You're not wrong on
Don't
that.
expand on it. We're on Twitch and YouTube, please.
Yeah, no
Honestly, the
expansions.
falling
No.
into is more than enough. And
Yeah,
then
no, we're good. We're
the
fine.
other big news, Genesis. I know you've been a big fan of exclusives, but I got some
Stop.
bad news.
Oh god.
So Jim Ryan also did an interview with GQ UK. They basically were like, "Hey, you want 20 minutes with Jim Ryan?" And GQ was like, "Yeah." So normally they're trying to find people to do interviews, but Jim Ryan was like, "I'll do one with you." So it was cool that they did this. And they asked about what about PlayStation games on PC, like you had Horizon on there, and they dropped that Days Gone is coming to PC this spring, which is good. Get some legs into that game, you know?
Yeah, I listen. You know my stance on this already. Um, it's
Mm-hmm.
just not. It's not something that I want. Not to say that I have something against PC people. It's
I
more
do.
along the lines of it's an okay.
PC culture is ruining our great nation. And I don't mean politically correct. I'm talking about personal computers. I don't like them. You need to buy a console, or you need to get out.
I listen. This is an opinionated podcast. I agree, and whoever doesn't agree can get out. I don't care. No, for
This is why we forced Giuseppe out, because he couldn't handle that we were always right about everything. Never been wrong. Don't ever look back at the old episodes. Don't even watch the beginning of this episode if you're just tuning in. Don't catch up later. Just because we're never wrong. Also, don't even remember any of this, because don't fact check us, because we don't know. We're dumb.
no. You don't need to fact. The whole thing is you don't need to fact check us. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. If we're
Also,
always right, you don't need to fact check us.
if you want to fact check us, throw it in the comment. Let us know. We'll probably
Yeah,
respond.
please. We'd love to see. Yeah, we'd love to see you guys in the Twitch chat or YouTube chat. Either one of them. But
Yeah, of course.
I am strongly against more and more exclusives coming onto PC. It just, for me, and I said this time and time again, so I'll keep it short. It's just diminishing the library that PlayStation has, and he said something in the interview where he was alluding to the fact that more is to come on PC, and that this is the beginning, with Days Gone hitting PC. I would personally put my money saying that I think we'll see Ghost of Tsushima hit PC. We'll see Last of Us hit PC. I don't think God of War. I don't think Uncharted. Maybe Uncharted, depending. Maybe the first three. I don't know. Definitely not their Infamous. Not the Ratchet and Clank. Not like their big like. But you see, Ghost is a big one for them now too. Horizon's also a big one. That's the thing, is like I don't know whether I could believe the big ones won't hit there, but the small ones or middle of the road ones will. Because Ghost turned out to be a giant success for them, and so did Horizon. That's why it's getting a sequel. You know.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So excited.
Yeah.
I hope that's at
Detroit
the thing on Thursday.
Oh God. Detroit also ended up on PC. You know.
So did Heavy Rain and all of them.
Yes.
That was
yes.
just
A lot
that
of them
was,
ended up PC.
see, I'm fine with it. Because it's I just don't see them ever putting like a God of War or Last of Us on there.
Yeah, but they're leaving money on the table. That's the whole thing. They're leaving so much money on the table that why wouldn't they do it? They'd be looking at themselves in a board meeting and be like, why wouldn't we do this if we have the chance to just gain money like that? That's instant revenue for them.
So I see it as like, was Horizon a system seller? I would say no. I would say if you owned a PlayStation, you bought Horizon. You didn't buy a PlayStation to play Horizon. I mean, I would have, but I don't think there were that many people buying a PlayStation to play Horizon, and I don't think anybody bought a PlayStation to play Days Gone. I think people buy a PlayStation to play Last of Us. People buy a PlayStation to play God of War. That's when I say like the middle tier games. even as much as I love Horizon, and it's my number one game of the PlayStation 4 generation, I still think like it didn't move units, so they were like, put it on the PC. Let's see what this game can do. So we can create even a bigger sequel that will be exclusive to PlayStation 5 and 4, probably, for years, and then come to PC a couple years later.
I don't know. You see, Nintendo doesn't do that, and there's a reason, because nobody can then use their properties for anything, and that's why people go to Nintendo. That's why Switch sells just stupid numbers.
Yeah,
It's
but
not a
Switch
console that
sells
even.
for multiple reasons.
Yeah,
And
but it also, because that's the only place you can play Mario. That's the only place you can play Zelda. That's the only place you can play, Metroid, Donkey Kong, all those iconic names. And yeah, you can also say like, hey, PlayStation's still going to be the only place you can play God of War, Last of Us, Uncharted, Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man. You know, but who's to say that's going to stay? What if they decide that, hey, Ratchet and Clank's going to come to PC? Hey, Spider-Man's going to be going to PC? Like, once you start doing that, that PlayStation then loses its value. And I know we've gone through this multiple times, so I think I'm gonna end it there. But
yeah, yeah.
it's just, it's just, I don't know. I feel like they're just digging themselves a hole. Not really money wise, but just they're gonna lose their exclusivity with that. They're just gonna be, like Kingdom Hearts was exclusive. Final Fantasy VII was exclusive. 7 is still exclusive as long as you're only looking at the remake, because that hasn't come out anywhere else.
Not yet.
And then, not yet, right? Not yet. Same thing with the new one coming out, even though that I think says timed exclusivity, but I don't know. Nobody's been able to confirm or deny that. Sony hasn't said anything about it. And same thing now with what's that? What's the other game
Death
that
Stranding?
just got? No, well, yeah, Death Stranding 2. That was another PlayStation that had to go to PC. But I think
Persona?
that was more along the lines of that's Kojima, because he's not like, he's not from yeah, they kind of quote unquote leased him or said, hey, here's some money, do what you want with it, and make your game and put it on our console.
Yeah.
Persona, yeah, another one that went also to PC. That's also a big one that a lot of people went to PlayStation because they want to play JRPGs like Persona. They lose that and they're like, well, I guess I could just go on a PC and get it now.
Yeah, in some ways I agree with you. I'm curious to see what the future holds. Maybe this state of play will be like, hey, every game we ever make now, I'll come to PC.
That would suck.
I
That
don't
would
think
be
it's gonna
so
happen,
terrible.
but yeah,
I
that
don't
was
think so either, but
that was the
that'd be
biggest
horrible.
news coming out of today. That we both were like, hey, this could be good, this could be bad, but I don't know.
Yeah,
We've talked
I
about
mean,
it multiple times.
it's too soon to tell as well. We
Yeah,
still have we're very early on in the PlayStation 5 life cycle, and it's too early to tell.
yeah.
But we'll see where it goes. I mean, here's hoping that those big heavy hitters don't come on PC, because that would definitely ruin the reason for a PlayStation. But anyway, um, speaking of heavy hitters, let's
Oh,
talk about WandaVision. Apparently the
WandaVision. I've heard of
second
that.
best, second highest viewed show, according to one of the graphics I've recently seen that took shows from like Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, all that. Mandalorian was the top, and this was number 2. And a lot of the other Netflix shows like fell to number 6, number 7, number 8 of like just overall viewings. Like people were so excited to see this.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, that makes
insane.
sense. It bothers me
And
greatly, but whatever.
why does it bother you greatly?
I don't like to see Disney's success like this, but that's just a personal thing that we don't have to get
Well,
into. And I mean, I love WandaVision. Don't get me wrong, WandaVision great. I haven't watched The Mandalorian. I just don't care enough. But
I don't care about the Star Wars stuff to watch Mandalorian, so
yeah, I've seen clips.
sorry,
I'm
all the
like,
Star
oh,
Wars
this
fans
is
that watch
neat.
us.
So yeah, Star Wars, I like it. I watched the original trilogy about 10 years ago for the first time. Probably
Right,
less
right.
than that. 8 years ago? 7 years ago? I don't know. Math. 2015 it was. 2014, 2015, somewhere around there.
That seems like a long time ago when you look at it
6
now.
years ago ish. But
For me, add an extra 4 years because this last week is 4 years.
oh my god,
It's been a
crazy!
long time.
It's crazy. Time's
Um,
weird, but whew, speaking of time,
yeah.
well, what I did
um,
all Friday morning, I got a
yep.
pizza, I got a breakfast pizza, and I watched episodes 1 through 8 of WandaVision.
Side note, I've never had a breakfast pizza. How are those?
Well, mine had pork on it, so it was
Can't eat that.
delicious. No, you can't. Um, it was good. I got it from Tops. That kind of gives our
Okay.
location away. Well, not really.
Ah,
Well,
no,
I
it
got it
doesn't.
from
Tops are all over
there.
the place.
I'm sure they have like options that don't have like pork or anything on it. It was delicious, and I'm getting another one on Friday because it was
Oh.
so good. I can't even explain
So,
to you how good it was.
is this going to be a trend that you do every time a new WandaVision episode comes out or a new
I
Marvel
honestly
TV show
just
episode comes
like
out?
the pizza. I like the pizza a lot, and I think I'm just
I
gonna get
see.
it every Friday.
Okay.
So
Coincides with the Marvel shows.
yeah, yeah, it works out. It works out.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
definitely,
watched
definitely works out.
1 through 8 of WandaVision. I'll quickly go
One
through
through seven.
what 8?
No, 8 comes out this Friday.
What? I thought there were 10 episodes in total.
No, 9. Only 9 episodes.
Are you
There's
sure?
a rumored 10 one. Yeah, there's a rumored 10th.
Oh,
Well, we'll get into it. But yeah, rumored 10th. That's a secret right now that
why
nobody
did I
knows
think I
about.
watched 8?
Because there's a week break in between WandaVision end date, alleged end date, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier's start date.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Mm-hmm.
anyways,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
I watching episode 1, I was laughing the entire time. I was like, "Wow, this is great. This is like Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie." Even the special effects, they nailed the sitcom aspect of it. It was great. I loved it,
Absolutely. I
and
agree.
even the
110%
creepy
agree.
parts towards the end of the episode. We're not doing spoilers yet, so don't worry, everybody.
Yeah, no.
Um,
The block has not gone on the table yet.
and then the second episode, really funny, and you know what? I'm putting the block down. I wanna get into spoilers here, because
Blocks on the table,
boom,
guys.
block's down. You know what that means. You should have been here earlier. So episode 2, when they're doing the magician stuff, they're putting on that magic show, and
Uh-huh.
Vision is drunk from the gum
He,
blocking his
Paul
gears.
Bettany did a great job with looking like how he did on the stage, being like quote
Fantastic.
unquote drunk.
And then he kept saying, what did he keep saying? Like, not showmanship, like bizarre or whatever,
But
whatever it
yeah,
was.
huzzah!
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it was something like that. And she was like, "What? Flourish," or something. And he kept saying that, and then he would actually fly, and then she was like, "Whoop," and then make the rope there, and like so. And then that one part where he puts his hat through his body, and then people are like, "What?" And then she makes mirrors show up behind the curtains, and
How
everybody's
does that
like,
explain it?
"Oh!" And then that one lady is like, "Is that how mirrors work?" I lost it. I thought that was the funniest thing. That was the funniest scene I've seen in a long time. I watched that. Oh, hysterical. Um, and then at the end of episode 2, you get Jimmy Woo on the radio. I knew he was in the show,
Jimmy
but
Woo. Love
I
him.
recognized his
We
voice
need a
immediately.
spin-off show. We need a
We
spin-off
do.
show of the. People are saying do an X-Files concept with Jimmy Woo, and
Yeah.
it would sell like gangbusters.
I'd love that.
Amazing.
I'd love that. And
It
then
would be awesome.
I'll tell you what, my least favorite episode, episode 3, Now in Color. I didn't like the sitcom switch. I wasn't a fan. I still like the
Oh, when it went to
episode.
color?
Yeah, when it went to color and then she was pregnant and then she kept getting like bigger and bigger. It was a cool episode, but I was like, all right, I don't need this. I was ready to move on for some reason. I was just like, I get where they're going with this, like cool. And then the kids were born and then they were big, like cool. And
Well,
then
I mean, judging at how powerful she's become now, where she can literally just create life on a whim
yeah, that's something.
and say, here's 2 brand new lives in the world. She's basically God at this point.
Yeah.
That she can do that because if she's able to create human beings that have their own powers, because those kids didn't exist before. Those kids were not part of the original town of Westview. Um, and another interesting note, I think this was in episode 3 when they had all the people on the wall of who was. No, maybe that was episode 4, where it had everybody up on the wall of who was in Westview,
Yeah,
and then
episode
Wanda
4.
and Vision's picture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go ahead, keep going. I'll wait on that one. Then you
So
can finish what you're
episode
talking.
4, real quick, it opened with probably the greatest scene in all of WandaVision so far, where everyone is like undusting, and Monica's like waking up in the hospital, and it's, oh my god, it's fantastic. I was like,
One
I know
scene
what's
did great
happening,
things.
and I love it. I love how it's being shot. I love everything about this. It was so cool. It was the coolest thing in the world, and it was so cool. And
I have to agree with you.
then she goes into the place, and she meets that guy, and he's like, I shouldn't have been director, but you were dead. So, eh.
Which that guy, I'm calling it. I'm telling you, that dude, he is the main villain of this entire
I'll tell you
series.
right
I'm
now,
calling it.
if he is, I'd be pissed, because that guy sucks, and he's annoying, and he's kind of a little wuss, as we talk
Now,
about later.
hear me out. Hear me out. He's not. I'm not saying he's the main villain as he's the one pulling all the strings. He's the main villain, like the antagonist, but somebody else is making him do what he's doing, and I think either he's a puppet or he has a lot of power that we haven't seen yet, and that he's keeping concealed. Because you got to think, this is Sword, right? So this is the intergalactic version of Shield. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, for the most part. Chris and I did some Googling on it, and they literally just pop up when they want like a meaner version of Shield in the
Okay.
comics. So
If these guys are equipped to handle, let's say, giant planetary devastation type of things that are coming through the universe, let's say like from the first Avengers, the army coming through the hole in the sky and coming down and attacking, Manhattan. That if that's what they're equipped for, he's got to have some sort of power that nobody is aware of.
I don't think so. I think
And
he's just shady businessman.
well, that or and also why he's the main villain. He's going to be the main piece in Ultron coming back.
Okay, now I see that. Yeah, that makes sense. But then,
And yeah.
no, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to end with he's going to be the main piece in Ultron coming back, and that would be Vision's ultimate demise. He would be responsible for the final death of Vision if that is the case. Because you can't. I don't think you can make Ultron at this point without destroying what Vision is, right? Unless they're going to recreate him in a different body. But why would they do that when they already have a synthezoid?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know. When it comes to Vision, I just don't think he'll survive. I think by the end of the show, Wanda realizes she has to let Vision go.
That's gonna be the saddest part for me because I do love Vision as a character. Paul Bettany plays an amazing part as
What?
Vision.
Real
I like his
quick.
character. I like how he does. Yeah.
Everyone always talks about Robert Downey Jr. being cast as Iron Man. They cast Paul Bettany as Jarvis in the first Iron Man movie, and then later they brought him on as Vision, and he is fantastic. He's got to
Oh
be
yeah.
for me. I love. Oh wow, I'm totally blanking on Elizabeth Olsen. I love Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda, and I love Catherine Hahn as Agnes, and then Monica Rambeau and Jimmy Woo and all that. But out of the main two, Paul Bettany steals every episode for me. Like him walking around and being like so confused and like just the most human character on the show just really says something. That show, it's written really well when it comes to him, and it's played so well. Like he looks like that 1950s sitcom husband, and then he's also a robot, like a synthezoid. It's just so good. I love it.
The most human aspect of him was when you remember. I think that's also episode 4 when he comes down. They're doing the Malcolm in the Middle intro, or maybe is it the Malcolm in the Middle intro?
No, that's episode
that.
5. This Malcolm in the Middle.
Okay, so
Or
the
that's
one where
6.
he's downstairs and reading. reading the. Oh, that is 6. So
I
what was
think that's
5 then?
6. That's the one where Vision's like um getting like the growing pains kind of episode, right?
Oh, where we see. What's the one where we see little baby Vision?
I think it's that one. I think it's episode 5.
Is it?
Yeah, because
I
they
call
do
that
like
one
a Full
the little
House kind
tiny
of a
Vision.
thing. Yeah, and they show like them as a family.
Oh my God, the little baby Vision was hilarious. I looked at it, I was like, that is an odd looking little child.
Episode 5 is the
Just sitting
one where
there.
they with the missile, and Wanda's like, mm-mm.
Oh, oh boy, that one was pretty good too. But the most
Great.
human part of Vision that I'd seen was when he was sitting downstairs, the kids are there, he's reading the paper, and he's just acting like that typical dad who's
Yep.
like, she looks at him and she's like, honey, you gotta tell them we can't have a puppy. He's like, boys, we can't have a puppy, or maybe we can.
Yep.
I'm like, this is a traditional dad. Look at Vision, just nailing that right now. He's
Yeah.
nailing that real well.
He was great.
I think that was the most. Other than that, the only other most human part was when he was acting drunk. Because Vision's a robot. How would he act drunk as a robot? Like, what would possess you to do that you'd act that way? But he nailed it pretty well. Again, if he does leave after this, that'd be another amazing talent walking out of the show. I mean, I know Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. at this point. Robert Downey Jr. probably is never going to come back at this point, but Chris Evans may come back as like the Human Torch or something, whatever. But
Robert Downey Jr. is an AI. Let's
That's
remember
fine.
that. He'll pop up. Right, hey, Robert Downey Jr., hop on the green screen for $10 million. All right, cool, thanks. Here's your 2 minutes of work. All right, see ya. Like,
So I mean, but that acting that we would get from Iron Man, we're not going to obviously see that anymore. That's not
Yeah.
going to be there anymore. The Iron Man scenes, the things that made us love that character so much with him playing that. If Vision is not in the show anymore or not in the MCU anymore, that would suck.
yeah.
I would
It'll be
love
a
if
dark
Vision
day.
would stay, but I understand why they would have to do it, especially if and trust me, I would love to see Ultron come back this time better, this time stronger, and actually give us an age of Ultron. Like give us like an actual good decade of Ultron, just the destruction he can do on the Earth and the galaxy itself. I think he would still play a part with what they're trying to do with Galactus, right? Like it would still make
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
if he's there.
It would be. I mean, as far as
I
I
don't think
know.
he actually had to be worked in for Thanos, right? He didn't have
No.
any direct correlation with Thanos other than making Vision hold the Mind Stone, which then Thanos decided to rip out of his head. But, that was the only correlation that those two movies had with each other, correct? There was nothing else, I
Yeah.
think, there. And
No,
it's
there's nothing
obviously
else.
introducing, Wanda and the old Quicksilver. But, that I think resurrecting Ultron would be a fantastic move for Disney, but we're definitely getting off track. That's my thoughts on like if he was to leave at that point. But anyway,
Yeah.
you were on episode 5.
So episode 5 ends with a cameo
Yes,
of her brother.
my jaw dropped when I saw him.
I mean, my jaw dropped when Twitter ruined it for me. Um,
Oh yeah,
but it was a
yes.
great moment in the show, and he was great. Like he was great in episode 6. That's the Malcolm in the Middle one
I
with the Halloween episode, and they're in their classic costumes
Yep.
and stuff.
Yep. All I could think of was like, wow, look at the possibilities that just opened up from this dude standing in the doorway of this house. Literally just the endless amount of content that Disney can now like just put out saying, wow, so we got this guy out. Okay, here we go. Here's the steady stream of X-Men, Wolverine, Fantastic Four, mutants, just all that. Oh my God.
Well,
I can
I
already
mean,
feel it.
it's even more confusing because Wanda's not the one who brought him in.
All right. And he doesn't even
Because
remember who he actually is. He has the old memories of original Quicksilver in the MCU, not the Quicksilver from the
yeah,
X-Men universe.
I also still think that he's way better than the original Quicksilver in the MCU.
I 110% agree. That dude, I know they both starred in forgive the language, but the name of the movie is Kick-Ass.
They did.
But they both were in there, and I think they made a reference to it or something like that in the
They did.
show.
The Wanda said it, and the kid said it, and then the Wanda said it again. But yeah, they're both in that movie, and then also in the film Godzilla, the 2014 reboot. Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson, the original Quicksilver, they play husband and wife, and then 1 year later they play brother and sister in Age of Ultron.
Interesting with that.
Which I saw and I was like, ew. But
Well,
yeah,
they're two
whatever.
different studios, right? I think that's
Well,
Universal and then like
oh
Disney.
yeah. Well, you're right. Yeah, different studios. That means they're not really related. It's like Step. Anyways, so episode 6, the Halloween episode. I love the Halloween episode. It was so cool. Just Vision flying around, like doing his research, and then waking up Agnes being like, "What's going on?" and her being like, "Oh my God, I've been here. Oh, what day is it?" Like, it was great. I love it. And then he tries to get out of the hex.
Which that part I was like,
Sad.
man, this poor man is disintegrating.
Yeah, you
as he's
explained that
trying
to me.
tell people.
Remember how
Yeah,
you were
I
like,
did.
"Do you want to know?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then you were like, "Oh, dude, you did not sell that scene because he walks out of there, and Darcy's like locked in the car, and she's like, "Is somebody gonna help him?" And he's just like, "You gotta save everyone." He's just being ripped apart. I'm like, "Oh my God, help him! Push him back in or something."
Yeah. Either pull him out or push him back in, one or the other. Just help the man. He's in between fabrics of reality. Like, can you imagine what strain must be going on his body at this point in time?
Yeah, and then also,
I mean, he's a synthezoid, but he'll feel all that stuff regardless.
yeah, and then also the like, I want to say modern day stuff, but the stuff happening outside the hex is also, I like the whole Jimmy Woo, Monica Rambeau, and Darcy doing stuff. I think they made a good team together, and I thought that was pretty neat, everything they were doing. I going back to episode 5 with the missile. That businessman putting a missile on that 1980s drone without Monica knowing is stupid, and I was like, "This is dumb." This is
He
like
was
how.
dumb. He's so
So she's
stupid.
flying this drone, and then he's like, "All right, fire the missile." I'm like, "Wait, what?" So she didn't realize that it was loaded. How would she not know? Whatever. Like,
I love how she plays. She's like, "You didn't tell me there was a missile on." I'm like, "Monica, you should have known there was a missile on there. How did you not see a missile icon on the actual screen?
on the screen you're
Ammo
flying.
counter.
Yeah, it would say like, "Hey, it has a missile on it." Unless they were like, "Well, we gotta hide it from Monica. We gotta modify this 1980s drone that we got here super quick." By the way, I don't even know how we
Oh
did that,
God.
but we're Sword. We can do it. But yeah, I
Sword
was
has
like,
endless
what is
resources.
this? And then he kicked them out of there. Like, get these 3 out of here. They don't know nothing about nothing.
And then Jimmy Woo and
And I'm
Monica
like,
Rambeau just beat the crud out of these 2 guards, and I'm like, well, that's cool.
dude, like an episode and a half ago, you literally said, "Hey, Monica, you should be in charge of this company, but you disappeared, so it's me." And then he's yelling at her like, "You were gone. You don't know what happened. You don't know what we had to go through." It's like, what? What?
That's why I'm saying he's definitely either controlled or he's playing a part that he needs
now
to
hear
play.
me out.
He's not,
He's a poorly written character. And I think
That's
he is
also
a
a very
poorly written
viable,
character because this is a type
yeah.
of character that you see in a lot of films and a lot of TV shows that is just like an evil businessman who's overreacting, probably shouldn't be in their position, and there's usually a person, and in this case it's Monica, who understands and should be in charge and is way better, and she's being rewarded by becoming a superhero. Like, I just... hate
Which,
it.
man, let me just mention Photon for a minute. That scene, I think in the latest episode, where
Yeah,
she
7.
lifts her up and she slams back down on the ground because she was able to break free instead and like break her fall before she hit the ground. That looked awesome. Her blue eyes look really cool. I was like, dude, that's
I'll tell you what, her walking through the hex sheet like barrier, and then all those people talking. You hear Captain Marvel, you hear her mom, you hear Nick Fury, like all those people talking, and I was like, oh my God, yes, she's doing it. And then she gets through and she sees in like 3D. It's like the blue and red, and I'm like, the hell is this effect? And it's like she sees like all the powers and stuff, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm into this. I knew she was going to become a superhero because I knew it was Monica Rambeau. So
Well, the only time I put two and two together, because you got to remember I'm not very Marvel literate.
neither am I,
So
but I
when I
listen
put a
and watch a
two,
lot of random stuff.
yeah, the only thing I listen to and watch random stuff is you, and then obviously
It's fair.
this podcast. Tune in every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm. You're late.
So shameless plug.
We're
So
on it.
the the time I realized was when they took the X-ray of her in episode 3 when she got thrown out of the hex, and the lady said she's like, yeah, I can't see her on the monitor. I was like, wait a minute, they can't see her on the monitor.
It was episode 4
She's
when they were doing all that those
episode
tests.
4,
4 or
and
5, I think.
and I think it was 4.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, I think it
Um,
was 4. You're right.
and I'm like, wait a minute, they can't see her. Oh, we got a superhero in the making here because they can't see her insides.
Yeah.
They can't see anything on the monitor. I'm like, something's blocking it, and the only thing that will block it is that she's got powers. She's changing. I'm like, oh.
And then like, it was pretty smart of her to be like, hey, look at this stuff. Test my outfit. I was wearing a bulletproof vest when I went in. Oh, look at this. It's 86% Kevlar. So Wanda is just transforming the stuff, and that's why they create that drone. That's why they use the drone in episode 5. And I'm
Mm.
like, genius. Like, how many times have you watched a movie and you're like, when is this character going to figure this out? Especially a TV show where they drag things out for like 12 seasons.
God, I hate that.
And she immediately was like, you know what? Hold on a moment. And then
Common sense is a thing that characters should have.
yeah, which is something that main doesn't have, that business guy doesn't have, which I hate. I can't
Hayward.
ever remember his name. Hayward. Yeah, thank you. Hate
Yeah.
that guy. Just
The only
start
reason
it
why I
off.
remember that is because I watched a video saying that Hayward means the one who guards or the one who watches. That's the only reason why I remember that, and because he's like, he's watching Vision. He just needs Vision, and that's what he's mainly
And
after.
Vision
Which
is watch
Project
and look.
Yeah, and also Project Cataract, which is another thing
Oh,
for blinded vision.
yeah.
So Project Cataract, I will bet money on this. Project Cataract is to resurrect Ultron, but in a controlled state where Sword can control him. But they're not going to be able to. Just like obviously,
So
that's how it plays off.
I want to jump into this Ultron thing real quick. But first,
Yeah,
let's just end off. Episode 7 ends. Did you watch the after credit scene?
I
Or the
did.
mid
I
credits?
did.
What a waste of
Snooper's
time.
going to be snooping.
What a waste of time. I mean, that was funny, but why? Just throw that at the end of the episode. Come on, like, why did I have to
Sure.
wait for the credits? Come on.
Snooper's going to be snooping.
But it was Agatha all the time.
It was Agatha all along.
Yeah, great, love it. Catherine Hahn,
Love
like I
it.
said, big fan. So glad to see her here. Just
I like
being
her
her.
color being purple too. Like when she used her power and the color turned purple, I was like, that's cool. She's
Yeah.
got purple. I see Wanda's like eyes start to go purple. Like,
So
oh no.
So her character from the comics is like a witch who was at the
Salem witch trials.
Yeah, Salem witch trials, and she's been alive ever since then. So she's probably just sitting around trolling people. But yeah, big
Yeah,
fan
yeah.
of big fan of her. Really cool that she was revealed to be the bad guy. Can't wait to see what she does next. But let's get on this Ultron thing. Like, why are you so obsessed with Ultron?
So here's the thing. Ultron, the Age of Ultron movie is not the best, is not one of the better Avenger movies. Definitely Endgame, Infinity War, and the original Avengers overshadowed that very, very well. It's not very well written, I think, as Ultron, because Ultron just basically gets shut down within a day. I don't even think he's live for even more
3
than
days.
24 hours.
It's 3 days.
Sorry.
It's 3 days of
Yeah,
Ultron.
he gets shut down in less than a week. So, yeah, don't name it the Age of Ultron. It's the 3 days of Ultron. But Ultron as a character, I actually liked because it was basically Tony Stark's monstrosity there, and Tony Stark and what's his name?
Bruce Banner.
Oh God, Bruce Banner, right? Bruce Banner's monstrosity put together, and to see him I think, more fleshed out and more given more of a chance to commit more of a damaging effect to the Avengers. Because let's be real, he didn't really do the damaging effect of the Avengers. It was Wanda doing the damaging effect of the Avengers that led them the way they were in that movie. Wanda's the one who infiltrated their memories and made them these fragile shells of what they once were, and then they had to reclaim and work their way back up and finally understand, like, hey, we're Avengers, we have to do this no matter what, and we got to create vision and this and that. Um, I think given a chance for him to actually be this big bad, actually get a either a movie or even better, like a TV series, even like just a fleshed out longer Avengers movie with him and the Avengers and some of the newer guys, because Iron Man's not going to be there now, or neither is Cap. But Cap wasn't really an integral part. He tried to chokehold a robot, so
Yeah, he did
let's
well.
not be. we don't really have to worry about that one. But I just liked Ultron as a villain. He was one of my favorite villains in the MCU when he came to the Avengers movies. And he was just like an evil version of Iron Man. He had his jokes, he had his wits, he had his like the way he would talk. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I like Ultron. I like him. I would want him to stay around and stick around and do that.
Brilliantly portrayed by James Spader. Totally underused. He spoke quite a bit. Totally underused still. He also gave Claw his cut off his arm, so he created Claw, basically being the bad guy in part of Black Panther.
Absolutely.
So that was cool. Also, as much as I don't like Age of Ultron, there's some great scenes in there, and especially the ending scene where Vision is talking to like the last Ultron robot, and he's like just talking about humanity and like why he fights for them. He's like, I think you're right about them, but also I still like them. It's just it's great. Vision
And that's
was
the part of
wonderful.
Vision
So
that I am intrigued to see, that if they were to reprogram him and resurrect him as a weapon, would that part like override everything and say, okay, I gotta basically carry out Ultron's vision, because it's to keep the peace.
yeah,
Keeping the peace is the mission, right?
yep.
So, especially after the events of Endgame, right? You would think that if they were to resurrect Vision in any sort of way, which let me also touch on one thing. Why is Vision in pieces? He was not in pieces at the end.
Oh, they took him
at the
apart
end
to
of,
study him.
What the? Well, okay, all right then, man. The poor man just got his skull smashed in.
No, it's been
I
4 years.
Oh yeah, because he didn't disappear. He was just a dead zombie in the ground.
Yeah, he was they took him apart. They've been doing research on him for years. Was it 4 years?
Was it 5 years?
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, the snap was 5 years, right? Right.
Yeah.
The snap was 5 years. The second snap, Hulk snap, was, what was it? A week or 3 weeks after the show starts. WandaVision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before it starts.
But
Sorry.
it's not been too long after.
But yeah, I mean that's my whole thing with Ultron. I would just love to see him come back and just be more fleshed out and actually have this like devastating role in the MCU. Like, if he were to permakill one of the Avengers, that would also be something that I would want to see him do. Thanos, he permakilled Loki, not really. He permakilled Black Widow, and Gamora, but not really, because the Gamora from the other universe, the other timeline is here now. Give him that leverage. And now that Disney is entering the whole, we have Deadpool now, and we have the X-Men, and now we're going to be making R-rated Deadpool movies because they said not going to change the rating of those movies. Give a more devastating, like darker version.
I don't think they're gonna do that for the main Marvel stuff. Still, I think they're gonna hold off on that.
But go a little darker. I would want to see that. I think.
Yeah,
a little darker with Ultron.
But
that's my 2 cents on Ultron. I don't know if anybody else sees him like that. I think him coming back as that villain would be just awesome.
I'd love to see it. And I've seen some rumors online being like Ultron's rumored to come back. I'd love to see that, but Any predictions on the show? Like, what do you think? What's your prediction for the next couple episodes?
Oh God.
Give me the short and sweet version.
Short and sweet version. So Quicksilver is going to regain his memory somehow of the X-Men version of Quicksilver, and he is going to open the door to the X-Men universe coming into the MCU. Eventually, when either Agatha or Wanda's spell is broken, because definitely she's not doing this on her own anymore. It's Agatha definitely pulling a lot of the strings in the background. Um, I love how she was on the camera in the Modern Family episode, where she's like, do you feel like this is what you deserved? And Wanda's like, what? You're not supposed to talk.
Yeah, that happened on The Office, where one of the interviewers spoke, and I hated it.
Oh yeah. In the office, I never want the people to produce to speak or anything like that. But like,
Yeah.
it was funny when she said it. I was like, yeah, they don't ever talk. What happened there? But Agatha is going to be an anti-hero, not an antagonist. I think she's going to unlock a lot of Wanda's hidden potential, which will trigger her to be even more powerful than what she is. Um, and then the last thing is Hayward's going to be turned out to be like a major villain. I think he's going to be one of those MCU villains that end up taking some sort of power, or he may very well be the Conscious of Ultron at that point.
I think you're crazy when it comes to that guy. I honestly think he's just a poorly written character who will probably try to redeem himself and then get killed at the end of the show. Um, Agatha is definitely not an anti-hero in my eyes. She killed Sparky. So, remember that.
I
She
forgot
was
that she
like,
killed a dog.
yeah, she killed the dog for the show. Did she feed it the petals?
Oh, sorry.
Did she said it ate, or did she like kill it another way? I don't know. Let's not think about that too hard.
Oh
I think
man, I
her
killed
husband. We
Sparky
still
too.
haven't seen her husband Ralph, or if he even exists. So I'm curious
Ralph.
about
A lot
that.
of people are saying Ralph is going to be Mephisto or Nightmare,
Yeah,
or
I've seen it change to Nightmare
or
more recently.
Hayward is her husband.
Now, I
That's what a
will.
lot of people are
I'm
saying
telling.
too.
I'll be annoyed if Hayward's her husband. I can't even tell you that how much I'll be annoyed. But because that just wouldn't make. I don't know. Maybe they can make it work. I don't know. Maybe I'll eat my words. We'll see next week or the week after. Um, I also think her rabbit is very significant
Yeah,
because
Sir what? What's his name?
I,
Sir Eats a lot? No, not what is it?
I don't
Sir.
remember.
Oh, Sir Senor Scratchy.
Yeah, Senior Scratchy.
That's her
I
son in the comics, right? Scratchy something?
I don't know.
I think that is.
Oh,
That's aiming for. Her son
oh,
is was Scratchy something, and the rabbit's Senor Scratchy, and that's supposed to represent her child.
oh.
Um,
See, I just think
what?
the rabbit's going to be important because she says in the second episode he's always meant to be a star, and I just think that he's actually the star of the show.
He
And
did,
then,
yeah, he did pop up when Vision was doing his magic trick.
yep.
I just put that two and two together, and I can't believe I didn't remember that.
And then I saw somebody online basically break down her theme song, and she's like, yeah, her theme song is not her singing about herself. It's a guy singing about her, saying it was Agatha all along, and she's ruining it. So she's just like a weird, having fun type of troll, basically. So I do think that Senor Sparky? No. Senor, what is
Scratchy.
it? Scratchy, thank you. Senor Scratchy. I think he's going to be a significant role. I also saw people being like, well, what about the mailman? And I'm like, yeah, maybe.
Everybody keeps saying something about the mailman, and I was like, dude, the mailman's popped up, and his face is the one of the only ones that actually like pop back up all over and over. And I was like, why are they showing this mailman over and over? Like, what significance does he have?
Just,
Daryl's also
yeah.
probably going to play something in there. I think Daryl's because Daryl was the Frankenstein. Daryl was the neighbor who's cutting the wall down. Right, his chainsaw was through the wall, and not the chainsaw, but the hedge cutter, whatever you call that. Is it a
Yeah,
chainsaw? Is that what you call it?
no, hedge cutter.
It was through the wall, and he was also one of the only ones always talking to Agnes when she was playing the part of Agnes. Um,
Yeah, but she was also
and
controlling him in a way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Which we did see that. We did see that she was, but um, I think Daryl's gonna have some bigger part in that. I think so. I have a feeling he's gonna have a bigger part in
Yeah,
that.
but I think that's a good wrap on our WandaVision talk. Welcome back, everybody.
Absolutely,
Our
absolutely, absolutely.
spoilers are over. We won't spoil any
Spoilers are
more of
done.
WandaVision. Um,
No, no, not
but
till
you
not till
know,
next week probably.
yeah, well,
Not till next week.
there's some rumors about WandaVision on the internet, but there's rumors about other stuff, right? What's the internet been whispering to you, Genesis?
The internet has been whispering. Let's see what we got here. So, one of the ones that I've actually brought up here is basically about the state of play that's going to happen on Thursday.
Hmm.
So there's a rumor on Twitter, and this is split into two different tweets that I have here. I think one by Luke Granders. These are not anybody like actually, who's done rumors
Like,
before.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. These aren't like, oh my God, this is somebody you should definitely look at it or anything like that. But Corey Barlog did reply to Lou Granders in his tweet. And you have Andy Robinson, who's actually a verified news journalist at VGC News. Both of them have actually talked about the possibility of Konami uh, outsourcing their three major IPs, which is Silent Hill, Metal Gear, and why am I forgetting the third one? I feel like I just read this and I don't remember the third one. What is going on in my head? Castlevania, sorry.
Oh, yeah, Castlevania.
And the three apparently are supposed to be PlayStation 5 exclusive titles. At least, whatever exclusive means nowadays, if we want to go back to the original topic we talked about
No,
before.
no, let's not
But
jump into that.
yeah, no backtracking. So, those are apparently supposed to be exclusive, and Corey Barlog has the state of play linked in his response, and obviously he jokingly says fingers crossed for a playable Half-Life 3 demo. Obviously, we all know that game's never coming out. The day it'll come out is the day that Thanos snaps us out of reality. So that's when it'll
Already
happen.
has. So, bad news.
Oh, sorry.
Look around at your family.
Yeah, your family's missing. Sorry, guys. Um, so a couple of the tweets mention a post from, I want to say, this is not Reset Era. This is a different board. It's not 4chan either. I don't know which board it is exactly, but basically it's just a screen cap from one of the boards where they talk about there's a remake of MGS1, MGS2, Kojima being involved in that, and it's being outsourced to Sony. Silent Hill being outsourced to Sony. Castlevania reboot outsourced to Sony. Very Bloodborne style, PS5 exclusive.
There was a rumor last week, or like a week and a half ago, that Silent Hill was outsourced to multiple devs.
Yeah, so this is an update to that rumor where it's just saying Sony, and
Oh.
Kojima is involved with this one.
Okay.
Because I think Konami had stated something along the lines of saying we didn't outsource it to multiple people. I may have to correct myself. If anybody wants to fact check me, whoever's watching, please go right ahead and fact check me if that is the case. But Andy Robinson also has also said similar things. So he has a theory with the Silent Hill piece where Konami is outsourcing them to Sony specifically because of the flops that Metal Gear Survive and Contra have been. They don't want that. So they want to give it to somebody who's going to actually know what they're going to do. And the Silent Hill actually it was an inspiration to the Dark Pictures anthology that's out now. So basically, Supermassive had a pitch for Silent Hill, and that turned into Dark Pictures. So he's basing the reason why he's including that knowledge is I think just to kind of solidify the fact of that's why Konami would go with Sony to say, hey, let's put them in for this. Because Supermassive does a lot of stuff for Sony as it is now. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, they do. They're not exclusive though.
No, but they've done good work for Sony in the past. And then just plans to outsource Castlevania and stuff like that. Castlevania is the new part of the rumor that I have not heard of before. I have only previously heard of MGS going in there, but Any thoughts on that one, Adam?
Yeah, it would make sense. They've always had a good working relationship with Sony. I'm a little surprised because of um, Bloober Team, the people who just did the Medium. They announced that they were working with a high-profile developer, bringing one of their games back, like to the forefront, and
Interesting.
they were part of that Silent Hill rumor where it went to multiple studios. So I'm
Gotcha.
curious to see how this all turns out. We may find out this Thursday. Really, anything can happen this Thursday. So, and then Cory Barlog is kind of like a what's a good word? A troll when it comes to Twitter, because he'll be like, "Oh, I've never heard of that." Like when the God of War trailer came out, and he's like, "Oh, what's this?" Like I don't know what this is. Like he doesn't answer anything because he just doesn't trust himself, and he likes to troll
Right.
people. So
Right. Right. Right.
a lot of cool stuff there. I have my hopes up. I'm so excited for Thursday, more than I can explain.
I am very excited for Thursday. It's actually just a 1-2 punch Thursday and then Friday. That's
Oh yeah,
the
I
days that get
know.
real
Yeah,
exciting. Yeah,
right,
yeah. It's
right.
literally a 1-2 punch right after the one.
It's
I'm
gonna be
like,
great.
damn,
It's
look at
gonna be
this.
great.
My next rumor actually switches over to Nintendo here. So I'm sure people have heard about the 4K Switch Pro that's apparently supposed to come out this year sometime,
Hmm.
or Nintendo's going to be announcing it sometime. Along with that, there's another rumor about their online. As everybody's aware, their online is a hot steaming pile of trash.
It's not great.
Um, yeah, it's not good. And for $20 a year, even that's still, I think, steep for something that's not good. Um,
And you can't even buy it for
the
like multiple years. You can buy it for like two
No,
years max, I think.
and then that's it. Then you
Yeah.
gotta wait till the 2 years are done and then buy it again, or at least
Yep.
wait till one of the years are done so you can redo another year.
Hmm.
But basically, the claim is coming from Reset Era Thugsta, who has basically said that there's going to be a revamped Nintendo online system coming likely in April. The big thing that this is going to have is it's going to leverage N64, GameCube, and Wii emulators, basically to bring those titles back. So now you can then play your Wii games, your GameCube games, and your N64 games on the Switch, which would go hand in hand with the 3D All Stars collection, so that you can monetize those things, so that they can, then make even more and more of these remakes coming back on the Switch and things like that. On top of that, they're going to be announcing just big things coming after the latest Direct, because I've heard a lot of people say that the latest Direct was a hot steam pile of garbage as well,
It wasn't
unfortunately.
garbage. It just didn't have what people wanted. It didn't have like Metro Prime 4. It didn't have a new Zelda. It didn't have a new Mario. Like it just was like Wind Waker. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
wasn't great.
Um, it was, yeah, it wasn't good. And they've seen the success with the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo, the NES video games for Virtual Console coming on the Switch. And I mean, it would make sense if they're going to do it that way and revamp that online system that way, so that they have that in there now. As well as they would also want to be able to revamp their system for Pokemon Snap that's coming out. Also, I think in March or April. Um, and for any other online games that will be coming out later, for the rest of the year. It doesn't specify any sort of online improvements they're going to do. It mostly focuses on what they're going to be doing with like the virtual console section of the Switch. And I think that would make sense, especially if there's a 4K Switch on the horizon. Imagine for Nintendo fans out there, you playing a Wii game upscaled on a 4K Switch Pro. Like that would be something that a lot of people are like, I'll do that. I'll rebuy the game on the Switch so that I could play it on a higher fidelity console, so I can get a better. I mean, the Wii had a lot of games. It was a lot of shovelware on there, but there were a lot of games that came out for the Wii that people were like, yeah, well, I have a Wii for this. I mean, there's a reason why
Hmm.
the Wii sold so much, besides being a fad, obviously, with the motion controls. But um, any thoughts on that one?
Um, I when you say like they're gonna update their system, I can't imagine it's gonna be that much better. Like it's cool if it's true and they add like GameCube and stuff. Yeah, I mean I'll probably turn on my Switch more because there's some GameCube games that I would like to look at. But I honestly just don't know. With Nintendo rumors and stuff, that stuff is all over the place. You can never really trust it. Um, but all good things. Uh, I just there's so many things now. Like if you want to buy like a physical GameCube disc, some of them are like $90 to $150. Like it's getting ridiculous. Like collecting some of them games. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that I mean that'll help if they do that. I just don't know.
Right, right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. I got another rumor here, and this is going to go back to the discussion we were having before
Mm.
with this exclusivity stuff.
Oh
So
no.
back in June 2020, PC Gaming Inquisition YouTuber revealed a list of PlayStation exclusives that are coming to PC. So the ones that he mentioned that are going to be coming to PC are Days Gone, God of War, Last of Us, Spider-Man, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, and Gran Turismo. Um, I'm going to fact check the sources later, but these are this is coming from a rumor from there. I mean, I'm going to keep this one short because we've already had a whole discussion on this. But if that's a list of like games that are slated to come out, that's
I
frightening.
I'll tell you right now, I don't believe that list at all.
It's a frightening list.
I wouldn't even give that guy credit for Days Gone because most people thought Days Gone was coming to PC. Even I mentioned that I think Days Gone should come to PC because
Hmm.
it wasn't that big of a success for Sony on PlayStation as much as critically and commercially. I mean, there's fans for it, and I liked it. I planned it. I bought Giuseppe
Hmm.
a copy. You bought a copy.
Yeah.
Number one fan
Yeah.
Kevin
Yeah.
bought a
Yeah.
copy. Did you finish the game?
I think I was like maybe 70% way through the game.
Yeah, Kevin didn't even come close to finishing the game. Chris, our friend, he downloaded it because it's part of the collection, and he was like, this is bad. So he stopped. So, and he was playing with the updated frame rates and everything. So I'm glad it's coming to PC. Um, but yeah, we kind of talked about this one to death already.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't believe that list.
No, yeah, I know. Moving on to the next one. So this is something a little bit more odd that I don't think we spoke about in a while, and it's concerning the PSP.
Oh,
So there's a rumor going around that due to the increased 5G capability that is now available to more and more cell phone providers in the U.S. today, and with PS Now getting more and more stabilized, and with remember, I think I spoke about this before. There's a rumor that there may be a revamped PS Now, which I think Jim Ryan did comment on that, and he said we don't have any news now to share, but we do have something in the works because somebody
yeah.
asked him about like Game Pass. Um, this would be a very substantial rumor if this is correct. So basically, it talks about the PSP and how it was the PS Vita actually with the PSP as well,
Yeah, the
where it was
3G,
just
the AT&T
too yep
3G.
too early in its time, and 3G was not sustainable for gaming on the go like that. And the
Yeah.
Switch doesn't have a wireless plan associated with it, but it is gaming on the go because you can still play your single player games as long as if you want to play multiplayer, you got to be in Wi-Fi, right? So now that we have 5G in here and PS Now, let's say we are living in a time where PS Now is already revamped and it has more games on the catalog and it's more of a Game Pass type of deal. PSP 5G would be
Vita.
something that is more and more uh, that looks more and more sustainable because you have first the bandwidth and second the catalog because you no
Yeah.
longer have to buy any games. You just pay the subscription, right? You have the PSP soft hardware itself, which is buy once. You can buy the cartridges if you'd like, but the best deal for it would be a very streaming based platform, which would in turn, I think, really sell a handheld version of Sony. Like that could be some good competition against the Pro. I mean, not Pro, the Switch. I'm sorry, and if especially if it's being marketed as, hey, do you want to play your PlayStation games on the go? Get our new PSP 5G, which is where you'll get all your exclusive PlayStation games day one as soon as they release on there. right? All your old ones as well. You can download them on there. It's 128 gigs standard, and you can go up to 256 or 512 gigs if you want, um, to play on a PSP 5G, right? And just use PS Now as your service. Storage could probably use some work. I thought about it after I said 128, but it really depends on how big that screen is, because once you compress the games aren't as big of a size anymore.
Also, PS5 games on there. Is there an SSD in this thing?
Probably, you'd have to look at like a smaller, because you can run UFS 3.1. So cell phones, for example, have very high read and write speeds because they're currently using UFS 3.1 storage. I can't tell you if it's SSD storage. I would probably need at
I would
least a week to
imagine it's
figure that
not.
out. No, I can tell you for a fact next week on next week's podcast, so I can get the answer for everybody and let them know as to what the speed comparisons are. I can't imagine it's that drastically different, but I don't think it is as close as we think. Um, so I don't know. It's somewhere in the middle there, where it's going to be fast, but it's just not going to be as fast to do something like that. But the thing that you're relying on is more along the lines of your internet speed to be able to stream all those games. Which, if you're running 5G on a PSP 5G, right? The speeds you're pulling, you would be able to stream that with no issues whatsoever. You're pulling, I'm talking 500 to 600 megs
I think
at a
what's
time.
gonna. I honestly, if anything were to come out for this, I would say Sony creates their own like specifically designed phone holder that goes into the PlayStation DualSense controller for your phone,
They did
and
that already with the DualShock 4.
a PlayStation designed one.
Um, it was designed for Xperia phones. So if you had an Xperia phone, you could pop your phone in there, and it was made to work with the DualShock 4.
I think they would expand that because I don't think they need to make another Vita and go 5G because an SSD being in there, it's not going to really work because the reason the console is so big is because the SSD gets real hot. That's why it's huge. So to put that down, like they would have to make sacrifice. If it's all streaming, sure, but the connection, even of 5G, is really just not as reliable. I mean, as great as it's expanding, it's still the rest of the country does not have it. Like, and that's just the U.S.
Right,
I
right,
just,
right. That's true.
that one I just don't see happening, and I don't see Sony committing to a handheld again. I see them committing more to phones, which Nintendo and Microsoft are also doing.
See, and to just touch on what speeds are looking like in UFS 3.1 world versus NVMe, which to translate in English, NVMe is the SSD that the PS5 would have in it. That's the type of SSD it's in there. And then the UFS 3.1 is what your standard iPhone and Samsung Galaxy or Google Pixel or OnePlus would have in their phones. Speed, I can't. I don't think I can tell you very well. But for a simplified number, like they popped an iPhone XS on there, and that was reading at 580 megs per second. The SSD can run at what 550? What is it? 550 gigs a second or something like that.
It's
It's some
real quick.
stupid big number.
It's
Yeah,
stupid
some
quick.
stupid number. Yeah. I can't. I'd have to have more time to figure that out. But that's my 2 cents on that as it is. It's an interesting theory because it would make sense as to if they were trying to do that, so they can eat some of the sales that they've been missing with the Switch. And I would, for one, be very interested in if it was a, let's say, subpar 350 system, $350 system. Um,
Hmm.
to get something like that in my hands and say I can play my PlayStation 4, 5, 3, 2, 1 games anywhere I want to on here, that's insane.
I think this is all really about a PS Now reboot that we've all been expecting. That's been rumored for over 2 years now. Uh,
Yeah.
that would be before any of this ever came to fruition, I would guess.
Sure, 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 sure. But yeah. Um, I have another one here that I'm going to speak about. This is concerning a game that we all consider as dead.
Mm-hmm.
The Avengers game.
I mean, I don't consider it
Uh,
dead.
well, it's not breathing
It's
very well. It's
knocking.
pretty much on life support. So Marvel Avengers leaker, I don't know who the leaker is. I think it's through Forbes. So Forbes sometimes posts some clickbaity stuff. Sometimes they post good stuff. The titles that they have are pretty clickbaity. I don't like
They
a
are.
lot of the stuff from Forbes, but somebody posted on Forbes that the next 7 characters that are supposed to be coming out in DLC are Clint Barton, Peter
Mm-hmm.
Parker, T'Challa, Jennifer Walters or She-Hulk, Bucky, Carol Danvers, and then James Rhodes War Machine for the next 7.
The first 3 were, I mean, T'Challa was supposed to be out, and then Chadwick Boseman passed, and then COVID kind of slowed them down. Clint is
I
coming.
thought
They just had a war table about that.
I thought T'Challa was Fortnite, not Avengers.
No, T'Challa was supposed to come to Avengers, but they didn't bring him in because of his passing, and because they were just behind. Clint was supposed to come in like in November.
Oh, okay.
Hawk Girl and what that? It was not Hawk. What is her name? The girl that just came.
Hawk Girl, yeah.
No, not Hawk. It's not Hawk Girl. Totally blanking on Hawkeye
I can't
and
remember.
whatever her
Hawk
name is.
Girl, I think.
You said
I'm
Hawk
pretty
Girl.
sure it's
Hawk
Hawk
Girl is
Girl.
a DC character, so I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah, no, I know that one too. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, she was supposed to come like 3 months before she just came out, but like they ended up pushing everything like a few months. So I wouldn't. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we didn't know about She-Hulk, Spider-Man. It makes sense of trying to get him out. Um,
As fast as I can.
yeah. I just at this point like that game's got to be coming to like PS Plus or Game Pass soon. I would guess.
If it heads over to PS Now, I would be pretty excited about that because I have a PS Now subscription.
If it came to Plus, I'm telling you, I'd play.
Oh yeah, me and you would be in there.
Yeah.
We'd be in there playing. I mean, I would not have a problem with that. I would love that. But the recent War Table was supposed to address a lot of the things that they're trying to do to fix the game, make it better.
Yeah, it
Did you
did.
watch that at all?
Yes,
I didn't watch it.
I watched it. They announced
Any
the
good out of that?
yeah they announced the next gen versions are coming next month.
Okay.
So that's pretty sweet.
Okay.
They talked about the Clint stuff. They showed off that. They showed off the villain of the Clint stuff. It's like an alternate version of Hulk in the future. After everyone basically died after an apocalypse, and Clint like sees that world. It looked pretty cool, but at the same time, it just looked like more classic crafting a chat, more trash mobs. It was the same stuff. So
Okay. Okay.
there was other little things, but not enough for me to remember.
Yeah, I know. It didn't seem like it was anything like worthwhile. I was looking and I'm like, I don't
If you were an
know.
Avengers fan, I'm sure you were like, "Oh yeah, cool, cool, cool," and then you just moved on. It was also like only like 9 minutes long. It was short.
Gotcha. Okay. I think I got 2 more here, and then I think we're gonna wrap it up. So
All right.
I got 1 more here going. This is another rumor from Reset Era, but this is a rumor we spoke about before. That Sony is going to be acquiring Bluepoint. Um,
That was
were
supposed
they
to happen
not
this
just
month.
in? Yeah, were they not just in talks of like saying that Sony is looking to purchase something? I know they already had the Funimation deal going,
Yeah, they said
but
they're always looking to expand.
right.
So, and then that one dude who was like, "Hey, Sony's gonna buy Bluepoint end of February. If that doesn't happen, ban me." So it's getting close.
Well, I guess he's getting banned.
It's getting
I
close.
guess that guy's getting banned, whoever that is. But I would love if they bought Bluepoint. Bluepoint's definitely shown its strength, especially with Demon Souls.
Well,
If they were to if they were what do you what
talk
no?
to me when they do something creatively, you know?
Oh, listen, listen, listen. Give them the credit where it's due. I
Yeah,
don't really
I
care
honestly
if
think they
that's
could
what
do
your
some great stuff.
opinion is.
They could do some great stuff.
And your opinion is not fact. It's the truth. It's the truth of facts and the facts of lying and the
Are
truth
you
of
okay?
opinion. And yeah, it was a long time ago we had a chat, but that let's just pack that in the closet and keep it in there. Um, oh God. The last one I got here is
Mm-hmm.
Xbox. So Xbox is apparently rumored to be doing a event in mid-March, and this is
Oh
going to
yeah.
be structured around Bethesda. And I don't know if this is now news as of late, because obviously
No.
I didn't pay attention to this one particularly. But there is supposed to be an event coming out for Xbox just strictly around Bethesda games.
So
So all you Fallout fans and Skyrim fans and all those guys,
So
watch
the
that one, I guess.
reason this is a rumor is because the deal of them buying ZeniMax and Bethesda finalizes in March, and people think
I
after they
see.
finalize it, they have like an in-house meeting, and they think they're gonna have like a meeting in mid-March and like show off and announce their plans for everything. That is not how things work. They will not do that. If they do anything, it'll be a small little thing, and they won't be like, "Hey guys, this is what's happening with Starfield. That's for everything." And then the next Fallout, that's Xbox exclusive. They're not going to do that. I'm telling you, it's going to be, it's not going to be as clear. But I, I could see them doing a little event. Why not celebrate it? Plus,
Yeah.
fiscal year ends March, so it would be a good idea for them to like just drop some bombs.
Is that fiscal 2020 ends in March?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the last quarter. Something like
Interesting.
that. Yeah, I don't know. Not a company. So.
No, no. You're a company, all right, just not that kind of company.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a full blown company.
And that pretty much ends the whispers of the internet for this week, guys.
Oh no!
It's
Real quick. I forgot to send. I sent
yeah.
this in the chat earlier. That's why I didn't send it again. Phil Spencer
Oh,
had a Kojima Productions Ludens figure in the background, next to the Xbox logo on a stream. So he's teased stuff in the past that was on his desk. So that might be him teasing, or he's just a big fan. So
I swear to God, if that's him teasing,
I know you
I
are.
can't say anything on the stream. I can't do anything. I'm just a human. I don't have weapons of anything of any sort. So
You also have a daughter now, so you got to be careful.
yes,
So
if that happens though, I'll be real upset.
all right then.
Absolutely upset.
All right, Genesis, bring us home.
All right, so that basically wraps up episode 29. Stick around next week for episode 30. I may or may not have that that description of what a UFS 3.1 versus SSD looks like speed-wise. Maybe I'm pretty sure I'm going to be sorely disappointed with what the results are. But I'll figure that out and maybe we'll get that. We may have a mini episode. It's probably not going to be episode 30. It's probably just going to be a very short, maybe half an hour to 45
29.5.
minute. 29.5. If we even have it, just keep an eye on our Twitter, and you will see us post if we're going to have that mini episode this week on Thursday after the state of play, depending on what that looks like.
Yeah, that would be
If you
later
guys
in the
haven't seen
day as well.
Wandavision yet,
So
watch that. Awesome show. Disney, if you're watching this, sponsor us. It'd be great. We'll talk about
sponsor us.
WandaVision and all your Disney
Ignore
shows.
my comments about you earlier.
And everybody stay safe out there. Obviously, things are still the way they are with this lovely pandemic, and now apparently freezing weather going down into southern parts of the U.S. where
Yeah,
Texas is negative
Texas
20
has been
degrees.
hit hard. They're slowly they're recovering. As of yesterday, there were still like 8 million people still had to boil their water, but the power outages are back. But a lot of pipes burst. A lot of people got flood damage. Reach out to FEMA. They're offering a lot of credits. Reach out to your insurance as soon as possible. They're a little backed up now, obviously, because of everything that's going on. But there's a lot of charities and stuff. Check Twitter. There's a lot of things on there. Just follow some hashtags. And if you tweet about stuff, don't use hashtags for the Don't be like, oh, hashtag like pray for Texas, because a lot of people use those when they're in Texas, like trying to find
Yeah.
stuff. So they don't want to keep
Yeah.
scrolling through everything that says like, oh, we hope everything works out for you, Texas. Thank you, but please stop posting these. I need to see where resources are. So yeah,
But
that's a
yeah,
big thing.
absolutely. Everybody stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week on Crafting and Chat at
Yeah.
twitch.tv/crafting and chat.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
twitter.com/chatcrafting or whatever. I don't know.
Chat crafting. At
Yeah.
chat. It's at chat crafting.
At
Keep an eye on
chatcrafting.
that Twitter, and you'll see if we have any updates to put on there. But you guys take care and stay safe.